Caleb, your Hogs to watch. First of all, I think I know who's going to be number one, and I'm going to say bank on it. Arkansas's quarterback, Talon Green, will be number one, but we shall see. Bank on it, brought to you by Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank, member FDIC, life made better. Commercial Bank creates positive experiences for every customer every day with better solutions, better technology. Commercial banks for personal and business. Commercial Bank, life made better. Caleb, let's count them down. Hogs to watch, number 5 would be?
Number 5 on Hogs to watch would be another former Vol who we haven't talked about today, which would be Danico Slaughter. We talked about him earlier in the week. Danico Slaughter is the starter at nickel for Arkansas. He started a good bit for Tennessee, and he could give Tennessee trouble. Tennessee wants to work the middle of the field, and he already has an interception, 2 tackles for a loss, a sack, 3 pass breakups. He's actually been very good for Arkansas this year.
Well, not the whole year. Really struggled early. Past couple of weeks has come into his own in the nickel position. So I think that's a little bit scary for Tennessee. However, I don't know if you were going to mention this other player that I do want to address real quick. The safety, help me with his name. We've got the story up on the website, but the safety that is expected back is on the out list, which is not a good sign. Can you help me with his name really quick?
The injury report, let's see. I believe Jalen Braxton, is that who we're talking about?
Yes. So he was supposed to be back early in the week, and now he's not. So I think that's a significant thing for Arkansas to have to overcome. When you think a guy's going to be ready early in the week and he's not, that's not great. All right, so who's next on your Hogs to watch?
All right, number 4 on this list, and he's only on this list because of his production as the only really offensive weapon for the team this year, but I actually think Tennessee's matchups should allow them to shut him down, and I'm talking about, obviously, Jaquindon Jackson, who has 79 carries for 509 yards and 9 touchdowns, also has 8 catches for 85 yards, but based on the Vols' defensive front, they should shut him down. I'm just saying, because he's the really only offensive weapon they've had, you got to put him on the list.
Agreed. Who's next?
All right, number 3, we're looking at TJ Metcalf. Now, back to the secondary. Guys, Tennessee is going to be forced to throw the ball a lot more this game than they have in the past. They're going to get tested, and TJ Metcalf is going to, not DJ Metcalf, not DK Metcalf, TJ Metcalf.
Any relation?
No, DK Metcalf, I think, is with a K, isn't it?
I just thought I would ask.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure though, but I can look that up. But he already has 3 interceptions on the year. He had 2 against Auburn. He has a forced fumble, 3 pass breakups. Guy's been all over the field this year at free safety. He's a ball hawking guy. Tennessee's going to have to air it out. They got to be careful with him.
Yep. Who's next?
Number 2 is Landon Jackson. Now, this is a defensive end for Arkansas. Obviously, Dane Davis gave up 2 strip sacks in the last game, and that's a big concern for Tennessee. And Landon Jackson, although John Campbell Jr. and Lance Hurd are back, again, you can take that with a grain of salt. And Jackson has 2 sacks, 4 tackles for a loss, 2 pass breakups, 19 tackles, 13 of which are solo. He's an elite defensive end. Tennessee has to be real careful with him. They got to account for him at all times.
Bank on it. Talon Green is the top player, the top hog in the slop to watch, brought to you by Commercial Bank.
Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank. What makes us different from other banks? We understand that every customer has unique opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. We don't expect you to fit into the same box as the next person or business. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning for your next vacation, we're with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Commercial Bank. Life made better.
All right, who is it? Is it Talon?
It is Talon. You are right, Dave. You nailed it. You nailed your bet. Look at you. Look at Dave.
Story coming out of the chute. Give it to me, Paris Hilton.
That's hot.
I'm not the first person to say that. All right. Why Taylen Green? I'll give you one. He's 7th in the SEC in rushing, and the other 6, the 6 ahead of him are running backs. He is, last I checked, a quarterback. So there's significant concern. Now, from the scouting I've done, he rolls to the right a lot. Okay. And I don't know if he's just more comfortable in that. Some guys are, but I think he's predictable at this point of the season. So while he definitely should be number 1 on your list because a running quarterback can be the great equalizer and flip-flop a game, I don't know that I'm really afraid of him if I'm Tennessee.
Well, and also
Isn't Michael Vick, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right. And Michael Vick was from a different time. Nowadays, Dave, let's call it what it is in college football. No, and I'm serious on this.
I know, but you realize how old that makes me feel? Go ahead.
Well, no, but here's why it matters. Back in the day, in the 90s, you could forgive and accept, like, if a running quarterback, okay, they may have very mediocre passing stats, but they're such a threat on the ground, you look past it, right?
Yes.
And nowadays with college football, the way it's changed over the past 10 years, if you're not an accurate passer or not a great decision maker, if you're a mobile quarterback, it should inflate your passing stats. That's what it's been doing for the past 10 to 15 years. So if you still have mediocre passing stats now in this day, it's a problem because what happens is you're able to extend plays, keep things alive. People have to account for you running. So there's usually, and you know this, Dave, if you're a mobile quarterback, how often is there a really easy read to make down the field?
True. Let me ask you this. Is this a good primer for Jalen Milroe? Brought to you by Quality Tire Pros. The Eberle family has been serving Chattanooga's community since 1957. All major brands of tires, full service, automotive, brakes, alignments, oil changes, and more. All work covered by nationwide warranty. Cherokee Boulevard or online at qualitytirepros.com, qualitytirepros.com. Tell Bo that Off the Hook Sports and Dave Hooker said hello. Is this a good primer for Jalen Milroe?
No, and I'll tell you exactly why it's not a good primer. For what I just said. This day and age, mobile quarterbacks, their ability to extend plays and defenses accounting for them, that makes for one very easy read for the quarterback to throw, even if they're not accurate or not good decision makers. And Jalen Milroe, how often does he have a really easy read because of that, Dave? At least 3 times a game. And I think that Taylen Green isn't hitting those easy reads, guys. He's 88 of 162. That's 54% of his passes for 1,236 yards. That's only 7.5 yards attempt with 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And now, yes, the 72 carries for 331 yards and 4 touchdowns does speak to his mobility, but the difference is he's not finding the easy reads with his mobility. Jalen Milroe is, so it's not the same primer. And you're right, Taylen Green runs one way. Bobby Petrino is not, I don't think he's really crafted the best offense for him the way Kalen DeBoer did for Jalen Milroe. And Will West is right, and I didn't think about this, but I said yesterday that that James Pierce should explode in this game because twice now, Taylen Green has been sacked twice by defensive ends against Oklahoma State and Texas A&M because they leave that left side wide open because he runs to his right. And by the way, I think James Pierce is going to be able to run him down. I think he's faster.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that. James Pierce was only one of 15 guys that ran, 22 miles an hour? Maybe on the chat board, you can help me out with that stat. Only one of 15 guys in all of college football that ran the certain number. I think it was like 22 or was it 23 miles an hour? I mean, it was on the turnover.
It was an insane stat.